Greetings YouTube, Lone Assassin here. What is up guys? Today's sick ass gameplay is going to be some Forza Motorsport 6. This is the game after Forza Horizon 2, so this is what Microsoft and whatever came up with. This game is pretty sick. This is the demo. I'm just going to be talking about some general things about this game, the pros, the cons, whatever. So yeah guys, with that out of the way, let's get right into it. So this game is the continuation of Forza Motorsport 5. So this game is more geared towards tracks and stuff like that, actual tracks, actual rules and whatnot. Forza Horizon 2 is more open world, it's more free. You can go off-road and whatnot. So Forza 6 does not have that much. I mean, you can, but you're supposed to stay on the road, you're supposed to stay on the track. So I mean, this game is pretty cool. When you first start off, you start off with the Ford GT 2017, so that's pretty cool. I like the car a lot. I just try to stay in first person because like I mentioned before in Forza Horizon, it makes you feel cool, it makes you feel like you're actually driving and whatnot. So it's pretty cool. I mean, the game is pretty close to a simulation. I mean, it's not super there. I'm if you got the racing wheel and stuff like that, then yeah, probably. But it's pretty close to what it would be like to actually race and whatnot. So I mean, if you're into that, this game is for you. This is only Xbox One exclusive. Xbox 360 I believe also, but Microsoft exclusive. So sorry people on the PS4, PS3, out of luck. But this game is pretty cool. Like I said, there's lots of cool games and race tracks and whatnot. There's lots of cars you can select. In the beginning, like I said, you start with the Ford GT. Then after that, they give you your actual own car. I chose the Mazda RX-7. Just basic stuff. Maneuvering and whatnot. What really impressed me, there was a piece, man. This part was cool. There was a little section or whatever. They're oh, you get invited to events and whatnot. So I'm like, fuck it, right? So let's go. So I go right to the event. It's the Indy 500, the Indianapolis 500. So I'm like, fuck it. I'm like, whatever. So then some guy starts telling you about the history of Indy and whatnot. So he's talking in the background. I'm like, whatever, bro. Let's go. So I'm revving up the engines and shit. And I look around me and I'm looking and shit. I'm like, all right, cool. And we're on the same car. And it starts off right. Boom, we start off and start picking up some speed. I'm like, all right, cool. And it gets I don't know, it's 150, 160. I'm like, oh shit, because man, you feel the speed. It's really quick, and your reactions got to be on it. So I'm I was tripping out. That was really cool because compared to the other cars that you get, going fast is 130, 140. On the Mazda RX-7, the Ford GT, you got to around I don't know, 170, 180, and that was fast. But then you really don't appreciate it because you start going fast in a straight line, and then you gotta slow down to start turning. Sometimes there's pinwheel or hairpin turns, I think they're called, the super sharp turns you gotta take, and with the point of going 170, you gotta slow down to pretty much 20 or 30 just to do that turn. So that kind of sucked. But in this one, you're the Indy 500, you're just in a big oval, so I think you're going fast, 200 plus, and that compared to how it was the previous cars you've driven, this thing is ridiculously quick. This is how Sonic feels when he's running and shit. It was really fast. That's what that part of the game, I was damn, this game is pretty sick. So the demo really highlighted pretty much the great features of the game. That for me was a really big damn, that part right there, the Indy 500, that was that pretty much sold me to get this game, no lie. I'm not too big on track races, track cars and stuff like that. The reason I picked Forza Horizon 2 and not Forza 5 was because I'm not really onto tracks and stuff. I like getting off road. I like finding shortcuts, maneuvering my way tactically. When you're on the track, you pretty much do everything the same. So I'm not really into that. But just seeing the Indy 500, experiencing the Indy 500, that shit got me. I was fuck, I gotta get this game. So that shit was pretty cool. And then the last race, it was pretty cool. What I liked about it was you're back in your normal car, the RX-7, or the one I chose. What I liked about it was it started raining right on the track, so then puddles started forming and stuff. So when you hit it, when you hit a puddle, like your car started like skidding and whatnot, and that shit was pretty cool. That was really realistic. I like that. The rain looked pretty cool on your windshield and stuff. So all in all, it was a pretty cool game. It was a beautiful game. Lots of great things about it. Negatives. I mean, if you're really into like arcade racers, like Need for Speed or like Burnout or whatever, like all that stuff, like if you're into that, then you probably don't want this game, because like this is like more realistic, more simulation. You gotta like start braking and like turning, more tactically and whatnot. So if you're into like that stuff, then yeah. But if you're not, if you just like want to drift everywhere and you want to like go like 200 plus everywhere with nitrous and like NOS, and like you have like the rocket boosters and all that stuff, you're into that, like speed, then it's probably not for you. But this game is pretty cool. I recommend getting the demo if you have an Xbox One, or I believe it's on 360 also. If you have that, get the demo, try it out. If not, then sorry, out of luck. So thank you for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the content, please check out the other content on the channel. Thank you for watching, guys. And remember, you guys are beasts. I'm out.